Hi boys and girls, welcome back to Tiny Timmy Soccer Superstar Part 4. This is the final part. We're up to Chapter 12. When practice was finished, Coach Roach called me and Hacker over. Hacker is the best header of the ball on our team, Coach Roach said. Yes, he's big, but he's doing one thing that you don't do, lad. Coach Roach tossed the ball to Hacker, who headed it back powerfully, straight into his arms. You have the spring in your heels, Timmy, more than I've ever seen. You're getting in the right position. You're using your legs and your arms to get up high. Just one problem. You need to open your eyes. Tiny Timmy might be able to jump high, but it's hard to see in the dark, said Studs, who had appeared from behind a tree next to Coach Roach. Yeah, too scared to keep his eyes open, said Hacker. That's enough out of you two, said Coach Roach. Timmy's not afraid. Anyone can see that. He's just not had enough heading practice. Give it a go, lad. Eyes wide open. Coach Roach threw the ball to me head height. Eyes open, I headed it straight back. He threw it higher, so I had to jump up to head it. Same result, again and again. I was making good contact with the ball, and it was going just where I wanted it to go. Breakthrough! Next, Coach Roach kicked the ball high between Hacker and I. Well, who wants it? He called out. Hacker and I looked at each other, then up at the ball, then back at each other. His face turned even meaner. I was determined. Hacker moved over and positioned himself under the ball. I'd seen him in games going for headers, and he would suddenly become all elbows. I'd have to watch out for those. He jumped, ready to head the ball away. He was big and tall and could jump pretty well for a kid his size. His arms were up and his elbows were out. He looked like a giant chicken flapping its wings. But he was no match for the spring in my step. I took a few paces and leaped up over his flapping arms and got my head on the ball above Hacker's head. I knocked it straight back into Coach Roach's arms. Astonishing, Timmy, said Coach Roach. Just astonishing. He must have got bionic legs put in, said Hacker. I could hear him talking to Studs after practice. We were all walking back to class. No way, said Studs. That kind of thing costs lots and lots of money. At least $100. Well, maybe he's put tiny trampolines in the bottom of his boots so he can bounce up high, Hacker suggested. How else could he outjump me? Nup, he just got good and now he can jump really high, Studs said. We knew all along he'd get into the team, maybe even be the best player. And now you've let him beat you to a header. That's your thing. Yeah, but would it be so bad if he got in the team, Hacker asked. I mean, he might help us win. But we're the best players, Stud said, and we need to keep it that way. Get it? We want the kids at school chanting our name, not Tiny Timmy's. Best players? In their dreams, Mike scoffed. But it at least explained why Hacker and Studs had been giving me such a hard time. They were jealous. Chapter 13. Coach Roach usually posts the team for next week's game at lunchtime. I was there at the notice board as soon as the bell went. Time went by. No Coach Roach. Hacker and Studs walked past. Look at Tiny Timmy waiting to see if he's kept his place as Orange Boy, said Studs. Yeah, he should be dropped, just like he dropped the Oranges last week, said Hacker. They could be right. They couldn't be right, could they? Millie heard Hacker and Studs. Don't worry, Tim. We need a player like you. I'm sure Coach Roach will put you on the team, she said. I really hope she was right. Just when it was time for the bell to go for the end of lunch, I saw Coach Roach walking along the corridor. Ah, Timmy, been waiting to see if you've made the team, he said. Made the side, he said. It took a little longer this time. I was trying to find a way to fit you into the team. He posted the team sheet on the notice board and walked off. What did that mean? Did he find a way? Was I in or out? I checked the sheet from the top. Goalkeeper, defenders? No, they weren't the positions I played. I thought my best position would be midfield, so I held my breath and looked at the names. And Tibor, not Timmy. Okay, maybe Coach Roach had picked me up front as a striker. I could score goals with my feet and my head, so why not? I checked the names, but I wasn't there either. I'd worked so hard. I could jump higher than everyone, and it had all been for nothing. I looked down the list to see if I had at least kept my place as Orange Boy, but my name wasn't there either. This was a real disaster. Just then Mike walked by on his way to the classroom. He looked at the list. "Wow, Tim, congratulations," he said. "A place on the bench. Coach Roach has picked you as an impact sub." He was right. There was my name, one of the reserves. Now I'd be able to show everyone what I could do, as long as I had a chance to get on the field. Chapter 14. It was the day of the game. I arrived at the field extra early with Dad and Mum and Kaya and Shay. I couldn't wait to get out there for my first proper match. All week I'd been practicing harder than ever. Shay only had to go next door to get the ball once, and that was when Kaya tipped a shot over the clothesline. I was feeling good. We were playing the Rovers, who were a good team. They'd probably make the finals. It felt great to be on the bench wearing the Blue Lions kit for the first time, but I was really hoping to get on the pitch and play. The first half came and went, 0-0. We weren't making many chances to score, but Hacker and Studs and the rest of our defence weren't having much trouble either. Halfway through the second half, there was still no goals. It was clear we needed to do something to try and shake things up. Coach Roach looked over at the bench. This was it. This was my chance. "Evie," Coach Roach called, "I'm going to put you on for Nico. Try and unlock that defence, lass." My heart sunk. Here I was, ready to go, and it looked like I was going to spend the entire game sitting on the bench. Another 10 minutes passed. There were only 5 minutes left. "Give me a chance, Coach Roach." And then he did. "Timmy, you're on." He came over to where I was on the bench. "I want you to take up a position in midfield, and if we find some space, get forward and join the attack. It'll be just like I worked out on my desk with the cola and lemonade." I didn't know exactly what he was talking about, but it sounded good enough to me. "And if you see the ball in the air, lad, use that leap of yours and get your noggin on it," he added. "We can win this." As I ran onto the field, I got the feeling that some of the kids and mums and dads who had never seen me play before were surprised that I was out there. But then I saw Mum, Dad, Kaya and Shay on the sideline. They knew what I could do, and I wanted to make them proud. There wasn't much time left. I wouldn't have many chances. I'd have to make the most of every touch. I felt nervous. The game was a lot easier when you were Orange Boy. It didn't take long for me to get into the match. Studs made a tackle, collected the ball and kicked it to Mike. Mike looked up and saw that I was in the clear. He passed me the ball. I took it and passed it back to him. It felt good to take a touch, settle my nerves and make the pass. "Move it forward, Tiny Timmy. The goal is that way," shouted Studs. "Yeah, the aim of the game is to score goals," added Hacker. I made a run towards goal. Mike spotted me and sent a great looping pass my way. I jumped up and collected the ball and set off on a dribble. I beat a player and hopped over the tackle of another. It was just like I'd imagined. Now it was just me and the goalkeeper. In my head, I could already hear the crowd chanting my name. "Timmy! Timmy!" I could shoot to the left. I could shoot to the right. I could lob the ball over the goalkeeper's head. Maybe I could shoot between his legs. But I didn't get to shoot at all. One of the defenders had turned around, run back, nudged me off the ball, and kicked it away for a corner. I'd taken too long. No one was chanting my name, but I did hear a disappointed, "Oh!" "Is that still the best you can do, Tiny Timmy?" said Hacker. "Yeah, is that still all you got?" said Studs. But a lot had changed since the tryouts, and now was my chance to prove it. There wasn't much time left in the match. Mike rushed to take the corner before the ref blew his whistle for full time. I stood at the back post. I heard Studs say to Hacker, "Get in there and get the glory. We need this goal and we can't trust Tiny Timmy to win it for us." Hacker moved up towards the front post. The corner kick went straight to Hacker, and because he was so big, the Rovers had him well covered. I had a tall defender marking me too. Maybe word had got around about how high I could jump. Hacker went full chicken flap with his elbows and jumped up to head the ball in. The players from the other team came from everywhere to stop him getting to it. Studs yelled out, "Jump, Hacker! The glory will be ours!" Hacker jumped, but the ball was too high and he couldn't get any power on his header. He did manage to get the top of his head to the ball and flick the ball over to the back post, right where I was waiting. This was it. It seemed like the play was happening in slow motion, but really it was over in a flash. The ball looped up. The defender marking me was the best position to clear it, and he jumped to head it away, but he didn't jump high enough. I tracked the flight of the ball, timed my run, and sprung up over the top of their player. He got the surprise of his life. I put my head on the ball. The contact was good, and it flew towards the top corner of the goal. Their keeper dived, but he didn't even get a hand on it. The referee blew the whistle for full time, and I had scored the match-winning goal. I just stood there where I landed. I didn't have a goal celebration prepared. I'd have to work on that. It didn't matter too much because my teammates came from everywhere and jumped all over me. Well, most of my teammates. But I didn't feel a thing. "Top class, Timmy, top class," Coach Roach called from the sideline. It had all been worth it. I was on my way to becoming a soccer superstar.